Hey guys, it's J Star Wars 360 here with the number one on my top 11 list of top 11 favorite characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender. You can probably all guess what number one is, but if you haven't already, I'll do my typical introduction of describe the character, then reveal the name. Now, this number one character is not just the best character on Avatar. He is one of the most well-written characters I have seen in any medium. In any other show, this character would just be a generic villain. But there is so much more to this character, and he has a wonderful, wonderful arc. Going from being kind of a generic villain to an awesome good guy in what could be one of the best bad guy to good guy stories I have ever seen. This character's story is so good, it surpasses even Aang's. Anytime we cut to this character, I'm happy. I'm in love with it. Any episode where this character is like the focus is immediately one of my favorite episodes. This was one of the last characters out of the show, and he is the best. My number one favorite character on Avatar: The Last Airbender is Prince Zuko. And before I go any further, let's just say I have a lot to say on this character, and I'll be really surprised if this video doesn't. It winds up being short. First off, I have to say I'm really glad Prince Zuko, exists on a television show, not in a movie. Because a movie only have like 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 2.5 hours to tell a story. And when you do the arc that way, you have to kind of rush and you really can't take the time. On a TV show, you can take all the time you need to change a character. So the transformation feels totally believable. It's not like he turns on a dime. No, it's a gradual change. And Season 2 especially. I love the transformation of Zuko in Season 2 when he starts changing. Season 1 he's just evil. Season 2 he starts thinking things over. Season 3 he really thinks things over, and then he changes. I love how that happens, because in real life you don't just change on a dime. It's gradual based on your experiences. And it feels so natural. It doesn't feel random that he turns good. There's been so much build-up so that it's satisfying when I find those. But I'm getting ahead of myself. When Zuko was first introduced, he seemed like a generic villain, but there was something to him. There was hints of his backstory, which seemed potentially interesting. And I always rooted for him, even before I didn't know his backstory, but that's just because I like rooting for villains, and Aang wasn't that interesting at the time. And then we get to the storm, which is one of my favorite episodes on this show. First off, we get a lot of insight into Zuko's character. Both Aang and Zuko's character. Zuko's especially, which is an excellent backstory, and goes into this theme of no one's just evil for the sake of being evil. There's a very well-defined reason for Zuko and what he is. Zuko is not a bad person, and I love that. Yes, he's evil. Yes, he's the bad guy, but he's not evil. He was a good person doing good things and showing compassion, and he got screwed over for it. And now he is left with this bitter, empty hole in his life that he believes only capturing the Avatar. Zuko's not evil. He's just had a really shitty life, and he's trying to fix his shitty life in the way he believes possible. And that is so relatable. I mean, we all have things we think if we get this one thing, it'll make us happy. So it's totally identifiable. Zuko's relationship with his father, totally relatable. I mean, some of us probably have like shitty parents, so we can relate to it. And you really feel for this character when you know what it is that made him the way he is. Because again, he's not a villain. His backstory makes him a fleshed out character. And not only that, but the way he's written makes him seem like a person. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say Dante Basco does an excellent job voicing the character. I mean, I just love his delivery. I mean, all the range of emotions Zuko has to go through. Angry, happy, at peace, sad, frustrated. He gets them all down. He can do comedy, he can do drama, he can do it all very wonderfully as Zuko. Doug Walker mentioned this in his Zuko Alone episode, and I completely agree. And my favorite moments with Zuko were probably in season 2, which, in a really surprising twist, took Zuko out of his must find the Avatar role and made him a runaway. He cut his ponytail, he was on the run with his uncle, and that was such a risk, changing that. But it worked so well. I mean, it was so nice to have him not chasing Aang, but instead just traveling around his uncle, finding out who he is. And I love the scenes between Zuko and his uncle. I love anything that had to do with him in that series. And let's see what I just blanked out. I loved every scene with Zuko, particularly Zuko alone. I loved seeing him on his own. I loved seeing him interact with characters who didn't know who he is. To show, again, Zuko's a good person. He's just misguided in terms of what he wants. He thinks he wants to capture the Avatar. But when he goes on the date, that's another great moment. It shows his character. It shows this inner conflict of part of him wants to capture the Avatar, part of him's like, maybe I don't need to capture the Avatar. And also this person who's been neglected and abused and really doesn't understand compassion. I mean, when he sees the girl on the date, he thinks, oh my gosh, she's spying on me, which may seem weird, but when you go into Zuko's mentality, it makes sense because Prince Zuko has been abused and everyone tries to kill him, so it makes sense he wouldn't trust people. And the interaction also shows that he's not used to talking to people. He's not used to people being nice to him, which makes you feel sorry because everyone is constantly shitting on this guy and giving him a hard time. Even when Zuko's trying to get accepted by Aang's group, they're still mean to him. They still won't accept him, and it's depressing. Like, he's rejected. When he's feels rejected on both sides. Let's see. And now, one problem with Zuko I do have, and a lot of people are with me on this one, is his change in Season 2. A lot of people want to turn good. I had a problem with him turning evil. Not because I didn't want it, I think it would make sense, but the way they did it. I wish they had shown Zuko feeling more conflicted about changing and not just on a dime turn. But I've already done a rant on that, so here's why I'm over to overlook it. Because, and the creators said it best, because if we did, if you did it too soon, it would seem too easy. Zuko can't just simply become good. He needs to go through as much shit as possible before he can. Plus, you don't want him. Plus, then you'd have a bunch of episodes in Season 3 with Zuko, and like all the episodes in Season 3 would have Zuko in them, and I don't think they could have written that many episodes with Zuko in the group. And also, we get the great scene where he stands up to his father. Wait, back up. Then we get a lot of great scenes in the Fire Nation where Zuko we need to have the experience of, would Zuko have been happy if his honor had been restored? And I love seeing that. I like seeing Zuko go back to the Fire Nation, have everything you want. I mean, yes, he knows that Aang's alive, but he still has his honor. He has his girlfriend. His father loves him. But I love how he's not happy. I mean, is it because the Avatar's not dead? No. Like, why is Zuko unhappy? And he's trying to figure that out. And I feel like they kind of went on a little longer than it needed to. I feel like we got the gist of it pretty fine. But it was still pretty effective. Like the scene where he's using his summer home. I love the scene where he stands up to his father. I love the build up to it when you hear the soft, quiet music. He's in his bedroom, looks at the picture of his mom, writes a letter to May, walks in there. I love the whole speech. I love when he says, I'm going to join the Avatar. And I start cheering, Zuko, yeah! Like, you've been waiting so long to hear him say that. And after 2.5 seasons of waiting, to finally hear him do that is awesome. And we wouldn't have gotten this scene if he had turned good at the end of Season 2. It was also satisfying to see him finally come around to his uncle, smile when his father's like, your uncle has gotten to you, hasn't he? And he smiles affectionately, like, yeah, I love my uncle. And he uses a technique his uncle showed him, like, And then we get to probably actually, season 2 is my favorite for Zuko as a whole, but I might like him better in this third half of season 3. It is so nice to see this character good. I mean, this character has gone such a dramatic change, and it's really nice to see it. It's nice to see Zuko on his own, independently, without his uncle to help him. I like seeing him be good. I like seeing that entire episode with him, how it takes an entire episode for him to convince everyone in the Team Avatar to let him join the group. I mean, that was drawn out a little while, but I think it was worth it. I love all the interactions between Zuko and the other characters in the second half of season 3. Zuko, like any episode, the highlight was just Zuko interacting with the other characters. I mean, it's something I've fantasized in my head numerous times while watching the show prior to this, but it did not disappoint. I mean, maybe it went on a little longer than it needed to, but it was still really entertaining. I only wish Aang and Zuko had more scenes together, like maybe a fight scene together or something. So they work really well. And it's still really weird seeing Zuko with Aang, especially considering he was trying to kill him early on. But they got the right length of him. I like, the scenes where he's I love every scene with Zuko. Basically, I could go on about him forever. But I'm not, because I've been rambling. I've more been describing what he's happened. But if you watch the show, you probably completely understand my love for this character. Again, most shows, I love this arc this character has. I love every scene with this character. He is the best character on Avatar, and I really hope Korra has characters just as, if not more awesome than Zuko. JStarz360, signing out. Good night.